Okay, so I'm going to start with the today. We're not going to keep you busy for too long. It's just like it's a slow entry into this new thing that we have every Friday morning. I think a lot of you guys wanted this a while back already, so hopefully this will serve its purpose now. And yeah, we'll keep on updating you on this as we go through. So today we are going to do Turbo HD. So I'm not going to keep you busy for too long. There are basically two main products we're going to focus on today. And then once I'm finished with the sales part, the sales guys, you're more than welcome to leave, but I would encourage you to stay because we will show you how easy it is to actually configure this. So the operation part will follow straight after this. We're not going to pause or anything like that for half an hour or so. So hopefully we've got the technical as well as the sales guys logged in currently. So we're going to flow over to the operation part, which Damon will handle, and hopefully show you quickly how easy it is to use these products. Do like a quick live demo and a small little operation part on it. Okay, so let's quickly have a look and see what this turbo is about. Can you just get my laser pointer here again? There we go. All right. So firstly, we're going to look at the product family. Not the whole product family. I'm going to keep you busy for a couple of weeks if I had to do that. But we're going to look at a few main products for now, and then obviously those spotlight cameras, and then the spotlight DVRs. So let's quickly have a look at that. All right, so product family, part one, we'll start off with Turbo HD camera family, Turbo HD DVR family, and then product solution. All right, so here, we've got a couple of models here. You can see it's broken up from the 720p, 1080p with your 2 megapixel, 5 and your 8 megapixel, your 4Ks. So you can see the name abbreviation here. And then broken up into other groups like your Value, Pro, Ultra, Color View, IoT, and your specialized type of products. The devices you see with the star now has audio. So those are the audio models, which means that those cameras are audible or audio capable, and we will push the audio over the coaxial cable. All right, so we're using the coaxial cable for quite a few things, including now audio. All right, so the PIR XOF is also a product we're going to focus on today. We're going to look at this with your siren and real-time alarms and all those kind of things. And for this, we're basically pushing a little bit of data over the coaxial cable from the DVR to the camera. It's like a data signal that we're sending back. So we're using this coaxial cable for quite a few things now, as you will see as we go through. All right, if we look at the DVRs is also broken up into the different groups like we had with the cameras on the previous slide. So from Value to Pro, Ultra, AccuSense, and then Specialized. And then also the resolution capabilities are listed on the left-hand side over here. So you can see more your entry level to your value types, the HG and dash Ks and so forth, and HQ dash K. And again, the models with the stars are the audio models. So those DVRs can handle the audio coming over the coaxial cable. So you can see just the higher end there, the 73 HT. So the T, if you've got a T there in the model number, it means it's a 4K or the up to 8 megapixel resolution capable DVR. The 5 megapixels are HUs, and the Qs are 1080p's, your 2 megapixel, and we have 2 megapixel light or 1080p light, as well as the 1 megapixel versions, the HGs. All right, and so we go up and up and up. And also another thing we're going to focus on is this AccuSense over here. So the AccuSense DVRs, you'll see their model number naming rule is slightly different from the rest. They now start with an IDS. So IDS used to be our NVRs, your deep in mind NVRs and those kind of things, the more intelligent series. But because we have this economical intelligence series, we put our IDS in front of the model number, meaning that it's also more intelligent series. And then you have the 72HQ and HU-M. So this, if you see a model number with IDS something something dash M, you know that it is our AccuSense DVRs. Okay, so this is also the second generation. The first generation was based on the Turbo 4 DVRs. So they were dash K at the back /S. So the new model number or new model naming rule convention for the AccuSense is now IDS-M at the end. Okay, and they're also audio capable, showing you the stars over there. So we've got a whole range of DVRs that are now audio capable to receive the audio signal over the coaxial cable. All right, if we look at resolution, I think you're all aware of what resolution does and what it's needed for. So 720p signal going all the way up to 8 megapixel cameras. So you can see the camera naming rules there, your C something T, D something T, and so on up to U something T will be up to the 8 megapixel range. And then the DVR, the corresponding recommended DVR for that, you can see we've broken it up into two. So we've got a cost-effective version, your HUs, HQs, and HGs over there, as well as the resolutions they support. And then also the recommended one is a little bit more beefy machine that can handle a little bit more. So you can see same resolution, but higher frame rates compared to the cost-effective version. But there's a cost-effective version anyway. So you can see that we've got, just to give you an idea from this kind of image, if it was taken with a 1 megapixel camera, that's basically what you'll get from these portions cut out from the image there if you had to enlarge them a bit. And that is why we need higher and higher resolution. I mean, look at that. If you look at that 8 megapixel camera compared to 1 megapixel or even a 2 megapixel, it is fantastic. The amount of detail you're getting with this is really, really awesome. All right, let's quickly have a look at some of the cameras. So the D0Ts, the C over there for the cost-effective version, the H0T. So D is your 2 megapixel and H is your 5 megapixels, but also the cost-effective version. So this is mainly the large bullets we're going to look at. Then we're going to look at your ColorView Series 2.0 upgrades, and then the IoT series. So IoT is normally for reserved for IP devices, but we've got them now in analog as well. So let's quickly have a look at that. All right, just a little bit of information. It's probably less important, but maybe some customers are interested and so forth. This has already been released. You can see 2020, second month of February, it's been released. 2CE17, the D series and the H series, so your 2 and your 5 megapixels, they have now been shrunken down to a smaller size. So we had, this is a very old version, then we upgraded to that one there, and now we're back at this size here. So the size is slightly smaller, larger than the direct predecessor, but still smaller than the one before that. And we've upgraded the bracket now as well a bit, so the brackets are quite nice. Okay, so the length of the body is same as the very old one. So that one there. So the length of the body is the same there, but in total, this camera is slightly smaller. And the bracket adopts a 3-axis adjustment. So this is quite cool. It's not that schlep that you have to sit with 3 or 4 different screws and tighten this one and loosen that one to install it. So the bracket is now much nicer and easier to aim your camera at where you want to. All right, just a little bit of an update there. Okay, so let's quickly have a look at the more cost-effective ColorView cameras. So I think you all know what the ColorView cameras are about. But Damon will also show us what the ColorView camera is capable of. So that's what we're going to have in the live demo / operation part of this training. Okay, so you get them in 3 different lens options, your 2.8, 3.6, and 6 millimeters. The awesome thing about these cameras is that iris, the f1.0 iris. It is fantastic to let in so much light that it almost looks like daytime when it's actually quite dark outside. Your lux level also, you can see 0.001 lux. That's phenomenal for an entry level, a cost-effective camera. That's fantastic. And then we've got the warm white light that can be switched on from the cameras itself. You can see them at the bottom there, and you've got your white light distance or your WL distance there between 20 and 40 meters, depending on which camera you buy. All right, so that's a whole lot of light there that the camera can actually illuminate the area with. All right, let's quickly have a look at some comparisons, and I'm sure if you've joined any of our previous webinars and stuff, we have covered ColorView also, but just to quickly recap on that, ColorView camera in an outdoor scenario compared to a normal IR or black and white day-night camera. This is the kind of image you'll get with infrared illumination, and you can see that box over there. There's actually a person hiding away in the shadows there, as well as the detail that we get in the area there. So if we put a ColorView camera in the exact same scenario, I mean, look at the difference there. And that's what a ColorView camera will do, is to give you that color information at nighttime, which is vital for investigations and those kind of things. All right, if we look at a parking lot scenario, normally from an IR camera, you get your heavy reflection from the number plates, where you cannot really read them, you can't make them out, as well as the color information. So the whole point of a color view camera is that color information that we need. So you can see if we put a color view camera in there, the big difference between color view and your day-night cameras. All right, then another thing, because of IR normally reflects in snow and rain and those kind of things, where a color view camera is not affected like a normal day-night IR camera. And then just a little bit more on the amount of information you'll get from a color view camera. Because of the color information you get, you can actually make out a lot more detail instead of just having a very bland black and white type of image. All right, so you can imagine where we can put these cameras, where we can use them, where we need the color information, etc. So that's just a quick recap. All right, so fixed lens models, which basically refers to or means that we also have zoom, motorized zoom versions. But the fixed lenses, like I mentioned earlier, 2.8, 3.6, and 6 millimeters. And these are your model numbers. So DF0T, the DF, the F gives it away. That means color view. And the D is a 2 megapixel. So there's quite a few of them. This has already been released, as you can see. So this is what we call the color view light. All right, so color view light DF, and then the 0 refers to the light part there. Okay, so the upgrade of the Siren camera. So the Siren camera, you can see there that it's still a DF something T, so which means it's a color view camera, but we've upgraded with a PIR X. So if you see an X in there, it's upgraded to have this built-in siren, etc. So it supports up to 3 built-in voice announcements. So it's got a siren, but also a voice announcement like "get off my lawn" or whatever you want to. You can choose from the list. There's obviously a list of 3 that you can choose. It supports voice announcement customization by Hikvision, so you can customize the voice. Those voices that was pre-recorded, you can also customize them and record your own voice in there. And these supports coaxial audio. So this is pushing audio from the camera to the DVR via the coaxial cable. As I mentioned, the D over there means it's a 2 megapixel camera. Because of the X there, it's got a built-in siren, strobe light, audible alarm, and alarm output. Sorry, this includes the XOF over there. So the X is for your sirens and those kind of things. The O's is for the alarm output there, and so on. So built-in everything there, 24/7 color information. The f-stop that we were talking about, the iris f1.0, which is extremely large iris. And then this guy, because it's not the 0, the DF3T goes down to 0.0005 lux. That is tremendous. It's really, really good. And then the same warm white light that we were talking about earlier, the 20 or the 40 meter, depending on which version of the camera you get. Okay, let's have a look at the DVRs. So firstly, we're going to look at the 2nd generation AccuSense DVR, the F and K series updates, and then we're going to introduce the solid state DVRs to you and what they are all about. Okay, so from version 4.24, and you all know that it's important to make sure that your firmware is always up to date. So this firmware has already been released last year, December. This is for the M series, which is the AccuSense. You can see -M at the back, and obviously it'll have an IDS in front. Coaxial audio capable, and that will work very well with your D0T, H0T-S. So if you've got a -S behind your camera model number, it means that it's audio capable as well. So your video and your audio will be transmitted over the coaxial cable. No need for extra cabling on this. So less labor, less installation, less things to be connected and powered up and whatever. So just one coaxial cable and Bob's your uncle. Another nice feature that's built into this latest firmware that we've got here is resetting your password via Hikvision. So your customer can reset his own password. They don't have to bother you necessarily. It's just obviously you need to tell them about this feature. So it is quite quick and easy to do this. So if you've forgotten your password, you need to click on Forgot Password on the DVR local screen, and then you will find this QR code. Then you're going to take your Hikvision app, make sure this Hikvision phone or the phone that's the Hikvision app is running on is on the same network environment. So if you've got a LAN connected to the DVR, make sure your phone is connected to the same Wi-Fi. to the same network. Then you're going to scan this QR code, and then a security code is sent to HikConnect, which basically means it's like a one-time PIN. You type it into the DVR and done. Okay, password is reset. It'll prompt you to put in a new admin password. It's easy as that. Okay, so quick and easy way for them to reset their own passwords. So please tell your customers about this feature. All right, the F and K. So dash F machines, those are the Turbo 3 machines, and the dash K DVRs are the Turbo 4 DVRs. They have the same thing built in now, and their firmwares are from 4.2 to 1.100 for the dash K machines, your Turbo 4s, and the firmware for the HG machines, slightly older, 4.30.101, will have the same features. So this firmware has been released already, and this one as well. So no excuses, all right? So upgrade the machines as you get to them, or tell your customers to upgrade the machines to stay with the latest firmware. All right, now the solid state DVR. Solid state DVR is a small little DVR. You can see there it's a DS7204, so it means it's a 4-channel machine, HQ, so up to 1080p, and then /SSD will tell you that it's a solid state version. Now, what's the purpose of the solid state? It's actually got a solid state inside. It's a very small form factor, the machine itself. So for those places where you need to install just a couple of cameras and you don't have space to hide the DVR in or whatever, this will be the perfect solution because it's a very, very small form factor. It's noise free, which means like with the other DVRs, it doesn't have a built-in fan to cool everything down or whatever. It's not needed. So no noise coming from the DVR itself. Very reliable because of the SSD. It obviously makes it a little bit quicker as well for data retrieval and all those kind of things, and less power consumption. All right, so capabilities of this machine up to H.265 Pro Plus. So to give you an idea what this really means, if we go from H.264, we've upgraded that to H.264 Plus, and that we've done a couple of years ago already, where we improved the normal H.264 compression and saved you about 50% of file sizes and so forth. Then H.265 was released. It was very similar to our H.264 Plus. And then we've taken that H.265 compression, the standard compression, we converted it to H.265 Pro, which is basically again about half of the file size of your normal H.265, so saving another 50%. And then we've upgraded that to the H.265 Pro Plus, which saved you another 50%. So you can imagine it's about an eighth of what you used to record. So it's going to take you from, let's say, if you had a month's worth of recording on one hard drive on X amount of cameras, you'll now go for about 7-8 months on the same hard drive, obviously depending on how much noise, not noise, movements and stuff you've got, and obviously resolutions, etc. But it is a huge saving without any visual degradation in the images. So you won't necessarily be able to tell with the naked eye that there's been any changes or any other different kinds of codecs being used apart from the normal H.264. So like I said, there's no degradation in the video if you convert it to these compressions. All right, so this machine is capable of a 1080p signal, so your 2 megapixel or up to 4 megapixel light. So 4 megapixel light basically takes the vertical pixels and halves them. But then we obviously make sure that it's nice and sort of like stretched out again to get to the same aspect ratio again as the original one, but it uses about half the storage at very, very similar video quality than the original 4 megapixel light. So it will look better than your 1080p signal and slightly lower than your normal 4 megapixel, but is a huge difference. All right, so that's been done at 15 frames a second. And obviously this machine supports the new interface, the 4.0 interface with the black and blue backgrounds. It looks a little bit more professional and is a lot more user-friendly to use, especially once you get used to it. I know that I've had a lot of complaints with people. Instead, when we upgraded from the NVR or DVR 3.0 interface to the 4.0, they had to learn the whole interface again, and they don't like it very much until they've gotten used to it. And now they don't look back. So I think it's just a matter of, when you get like a new cell phone, everything's been changed and moved up and down or whatever. All the icons and everything's changed now until you get used to it, and then you like it. So if you haven't tried the 4.0 yet, try it. You'll like it. Okay, so that is it from my side for the sales part of the training, or the benefits or the key features of the product itself. Every Friday is going to be similar, obviously, depending on what product range we use. It might take a little bit longer. So like I said, I'm going to ease you in today with a very short one. So now I'm going to go over to Damon. Damon is going to give us the operation part of the AccuSense DVR, as well as show you the color view camera. So I think that's going to be fantastic. Let's see, Damon, are you there?
Okay, it's fine. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, Damon, we can hear you. Carry on.
Okay, you can see this camera is our color view camera. I just set the lane crossing and intrusion detection for this camera. Here we first log in the AccuSense DVR. This the AccuSense DVR. You can go to the configuration and check the device information. We can see this is the AccuSense DVR. And first we'll go to the event setting. We go to the smart. And we can see intrusion and lane crossing detection. First, let's state the intrusion detection. And in the DVR, we can enable the intrusion detection, such as the detector package for the human and the vehicle, which means only human and the vehicle can trigger the alarm. Here we just set the intrusion box and also the alarming schedule. And here we can set the linkage method. We can see it can show the notification surveillance center. Normally we choose this one. If you want to send an email, you can also choose this. This is a normal linkage. You can choose anything you want. Also here is the trigger alarm output. For the trigger alarm output, we can choose the light and the sound. This is the linkage for the intrusion detection. Also the lane crossing detection, we can also choose the same detection package, also the arming schedule and the linkage method. I choose all the light and sound. Since we know for the color view camera, it has the sound and the light. So let me just trigger it first. Then没有，我现在在培训。稍等会儿。对。Here we can see when someone go into the intrusion detection box, also the lane crossing, it will trigger alarm. This is the alarm settings for this. And then we can go to the event. Where? I don't know. Maintenance and crossing. Look. We can check the alarm here and all the alarm types. But we'll check the time screen time sigma is 9 o'clock, and we can choose this. Sorry. I think it's maybe because this device we don't have the HDD, so it's not storage. First, we need input HDD here, but this device we didn't put it. But in the future, if we use this device and we insert a hard driver here, it will we can search the event here. Also, we can export the event. Meanwhile, I will put this camera in a box because this camera is colorful camera, which means even in the dark environment, it will also show us the colorful image. Let me just put this camera in the box. Currently, the device is already in the box now, and we can still see the image is colorful. But due to it's not very clear, it's because the camera is very close to the box. What we want to check. For the device set, anyone have some questions?
Damon, you can maybe show us just quickly how to configure this line crossing or intrusion detection with the because it's AccuSense DVR, right? To do the human and
DVR.
Yes, to do the human or vehicle filtering on that part. Just show everyone how easy it is. It's not a massive setup. You just do your normal line cross for intrusion detection, and then Damon will quickly show us where to enable the AI part to have a secondary analysis to tell the system to look for humans or vehicles only.
Okay, here we we go to the event and go to the smart event. Here in the intrusion detection, we can see the detect type. We can choose the human and vehicle, which means only maybe human and vehicle can trigger the alarm. If we leave this one, every other big target will also trigger alarm. But here, let me just make a check. Maybe just what is for the human and the vehicle. Let me just put a chair and see if the chair will trigger alarm or not. No. Actually, I just use the chair to test, and it not be triggered. So for the device itself can distinguish the human and others objects. Just what we want. And then information detection. Lane crossing also able. You can see for the human, it's already triggered the alarm, and which means it can distinguish human or vehicle. This for the AI setting for the device. Do we have some other questions for this? I don't know if you.
Damon, I think that was great. The whole point of this was just for everyone to understand, to get this machine to verify whether it's human or vehicle is really, really simple. I think most people by now knows how to set up a line crossing, a normal line crossing or intrusion detection area. And
Yes.
it's just the fact to tick one more tick box or two more tick boxes depending on what you want to filter. There's no heavy configurations that need to be done and all those kind of things. It is really, really simple. So what will happen is the camera will stream the video through to the DVR. The DVR will then do the analysis for the line crossing or the intrusion detection. And if you have the detection target type ticked like human or vehicle, the DVR will do a secondary analysis to determine with its AI or deep learning built in whether it's human or vehicle, and then just respond on those. So we have had, I've had a question or two about this part, if control rooms can actually receive this alarm from the DVR. So yes, definitely they can. If a control room, like maybe your armed response company, if they're running IVMS 4200 or even Hikvision, they can receive these alarms. Now that's the whole point of these AccuSense DVRs is to get rid of your false alarms. If you look at a control room, the environment and so forth, and if you're looking at alarms and those kind of things coming through to a control room, it's working on about a 95 to 5% ratio, where 95% of the alarms coming in are false alarms. Now, that's the whole point of the AccuSense, is to get rid of most of your false alarms, so that the control room can purely focus on the real alarms, to change that ratio from 95.5 to much lower ratios, to focus more on the real alarms coming through, not be wasting time on false alarms. If you're not pushing this through to a control room, you can hook this up to your HeConnect app and only get real alarms on your HeConnect app. So whichever way you want to look at this, this is going to save you a lot of time and effort. And like Damon showed us there now, is if you want to go look back into the history, it is so easy to find those alarms. I mean, everyone has sat in front of an NVR or a DVR, sitting and looking through video footage for hours and hours. This is going to save you so much time. Quickly go back into the recorded footage, tell the system to show you only the triggers coming from a human or a vehicle or both of those, and you will have your results within a minute or two, instead of the hours that you have to sit and play through video footage. And so these machines will really save you a lot of time. It'll save you a lot of effort, and it just makes life so much easier. Another question that came from the Q&A list is if our DVRs are compatible with IP cameras. Yes, definitely they are compatible with IP cameras. All our DVRs are hybrid machines, so they can take a number of different technologies from TVI, which our signal type is, AHD, CVI, CVBS, which is the olden day type of analog signals, as well as IP cameras. Now, the amount of IP cameras you can connect to one of our DVRs is determined by the series of the machine. So You get obviously machines with lower amounts of IP cameras, like 1 or 2 IP cameras that it can handle, and machines that can go full on IP, even if it's a DVR. So it all depends on the range or the series of the machine that you buy. I think the whole purpose of that is maybe for customers that does not have the budget right now to go from an existing analog system to upgrade to an IP system. They can then do it in phases. So you can start off with a DVR like this, a hybrid DVR, and then incorporate some IP cameras when he upgrades his system. And whenever his budget allows, you can go and more and more and more IP cameras on his analog DVR. So that could also save you a lot of money in the long run, help with the cash flow of the customer and their budgets and so forth to be much more affordable. So if you don't have any other questions, Damon and I will just quickly answer the rest of the questions. If you have more questions, please put them in the Q&A box so that we can answer these. And then once more, please set or change your name to your email address. I've also had a question if this video, this recording will be available afterwards. I can send it to you afterwards. Please just change your name to your email address. If you do not receive an email with this later today, a link to this video recording, I will put my email address in the chat box. So then please just copy the email, send me an email, let's say by Monday or this afternoon at latest, if you haven't received the link yet, and I will then send it off to you. Okay, my email address is in the chat box. Please go copy it from there. If you don't have my email address already, please copy it in there. Please don't send me an email right now because I will take a while to convert this. So I'll only be able to do this a little bit later today. So maybe this afternoon or evening, I will send out the links to this video recording. If you have any other questions, please pop them in the Q&A box and not the chat box. So please put them in the Q&A box so that we can answer them from there. We're going to keep this webinar open for another 10 or so minutes until we've answered all the questions.